Hey guys, Dan Malone here from MassLive.com alongside, as always, Andrew Cyr of the Massachusetts Daily Collegian. We are here at the Mullen Center right after UMass basketball's 69-63 upset of VCU. A final I don't think either of us saw coming.
Nope.
I thought this was more likely to be a 25 point loss, even though VCU is on the road. They were tied for first place in the Atlantic 10 coming in. They had recently just won 12 games in a row. UMass obviously had lost 7 games in a row not too long ago, and I guess that's what happens when UMass plays arguably its best half in a couple of years to start this game, where they end up going into halftime up 11 points. And I asked Derek about this after the game. I thought that was basically the quintessential version of UMass basketball Derek likes to talk about, where they were getting buckets in transition. They were shooting from outside, 7 for 7 from 3, and they were making life difficult for VCU on the defensive end. They were forcing turnovers. They were making them play deep into the shot clock and get up shots maybe they weren't wanting to get. And they're kind of taking. They definitely took Melvin Johnson out of the game for long stretches.
They did. In that first half, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That was their best half of basketball we've seen all season. You might even say a couple of years. But 7 for 7 from 3. And I think what really started that was the play of Jabari Hines and his defense. He had a couple steals in the first half that got him going, led to some fast break layups.
8 points off of his steals.
Yeah, he finished with 18 points. His first game, and I don't know, first game, and I don't know how long he's played.
A while.
He struggled. He had worked his way out of the starting rotation. He's been used off the bench now. But if UMass wants to win games moving forward, they need all 3 guards. Trey Davis, Dante Clark, Jabari Hines to all play well. They all did tonight. Clark led the way with 22. Hines and Davis each had 18 to go along with that.
Which is 58 of the team's 69 points. That's a high percentage, but that's, like you said, what they need going forward, because they just don't have the scorers in the front.
They do. In that first half, you saw UMass was getting out in transition. They were making shots. But in that second half, they kind of went into a lull. They went 3 for 18 down the stretch.
Yeah, that was ugly.
At one point.
And that was maybe like I think anyone who's watched this team will tell you, well, they're probably going to fall apart in the second half.
Yeah, that was a big.
They didn't do anything to dispel that.
That was a big here we go again moment.
Yeah.
But when you look to that, it was good to see them kind of bounce back. You saw Dante Clark hit that corner 3 with the game tied at 52. I thought that was one of the biggest plays of the game. When you look to Zach Coleman's play in the first half, he had 2 big 3-pointers, finished with 7 total in the game, and he had that tip out rebound after he missed the free throw late in the game with UMass up 66-63. So even though his numbers don't explain that much when you look to the box score, I thought that Zach Coleman had a very good game to go along with those 3 guards.
Yeah, that one corner 3 started a 13-0 run after VCU had tied it at 19-all. That really gave UMass the cushion they needed throughout that second half. That lead got up to as many as 15 points, and then it shrunk to 0. Jaquan Lewis hit a 3 that tied at 52-all, and Dante Clark comes right back and banks one in and gets fouled. He got fouled on a couple 3-pointers tonight. And it just seemed like UMass, more so than at pretty much any point this season, they made an important play or bucket when they needed it, especially down that stretch. Yeah, they didn't play a great second half. Will Wade, the VCU coach, came out and said, yeah, they played much better in the second half, as Rams did. But it was just too much to overcome, especially when Dante made a couple buckets, Jabari made a couple buckets, Jordan Burgess misses 2 huge free throws down at the end of regulation. VCU doesn't score again after that. UMass, finishes that with free throws. It was a promising game in a season that hasn't had a whole lot of promising moments lately. Obviously, UMass is not in contention to win the Atlantic 10 regular season at this point. They did just throw a wrench in the top of the standings, where all of a sudden Dayton and St. Joe's and St. Bonaventure are thinking, hey, VCU went from having no conference losses last weekend to now all of a sudden they got 2, and the race kind of opens up again. But the thing that Derek said after this game is this performance kind of gives them some hope that they can maybe make some noise heading into the Atlantic 10 tournament, that if they got on a roll and played like they did in the first half today, they could beat anyone in Brooklyn. They could win a few games, and who knows what happens. Obviously, that's down the road, and maybe that's a bit of a pipe dream considering how up and down they've been. But at least they showed that they can do it, and that they can do it against a really good team.
Yeah, they did, Danny. And you saw today, I think that when UMass's 3 guards, like I mentioned earlier, when all 3 of them are on their game, like you said, they can beat anyone in this conference. It's just a matter of Are they getting out in transition? Are they actually knocking down those three-point shots? Because if teams limit their transition offense and their three-point offense, you've seen what this team has done over the stretch. They struggle in the half
Not
court.
much.
They struggle with half-court sets. They struggle when teams play zone. But one quick point, Seth Berger left the game in that first half.
He did.
It was a play that none of us really saw.
Because it was on a fast break. We were all watching UMass sprint down the court, and all of a sudden, Seth Berger's kind of stumbling around. He's reaching for his face, and he's down on the floor.
Yeah, so he went through the concussion protocol. Spokesperson said that he was cognitive and responsive when he was getting tested in the locker room, which is always a good sign. Kellogg said he's going to be held out for a few days, if not longer.
He's questionable for Sunday at Duquesne.
Yeah,
So.
and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't rush him back just quite yet, especially with the A-10 tournament, like you mentioned, down the road. But with these head injuries, you never want to rush him back too early.
Yeah, no one's rushing anybody back, in this post-CTE age that we live in now. So, but that game on Saturday is a big game. Duquesne is a lot better than people are going to give them credit for. Derek Coulter and Micah Mason can shoot lights out, and this is a big test. UMass got to win at home against a good team. Now can they go on the road and get a good win against another good team? Maybe it carries over, maybe it doesn't, and we might be talking about all the same things we have been over the past month when they get back. Neither of us are going to be there for that game, unfortunately, so there will be no post-game wrap-up video. But Cyr, thanks for joining me tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Stay warm.